I knew that.
President Bush says he's prepared to strike against Saddam Hussein if necessary. That as Republicans prepare for their convention in Houston.
This is NBC Nightly News, reported by Garrett Utley.
Good evening. George Bush says it has nothing to do with politics. Others noting the timing. Tomorrow's Republican convention and Bush's standing in the polls may see it differently. However you see it, the president is ready to order military strikes against Iraq. He and Saddam Hussein are on a collision course once again. We begin this evening with Fred Francis at the Pentagon and Ed Rabel in Baghdad. Fred, let's start with you. What can you tell us?
Garrick, the administration did reaffirm its political and military will to face off against Iraq, but the timing is uncertain and the tripwire may or may not involve UN inspectors.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Minerva Perez.
And I'm Bob Boudreau, joining you live from our convention headquarters here at the Astrodome.
This week, Houston takes a step into political history as George Bush launches his run for re-election.
Now, officially, the convention gets underway tomorrow, but today there were pre-convention marches and protests taking center stage. For example, this afternoon, a unity rally from the inner city to the affluent River Oaks area. Protesters from several liberal groups such as ACT UP, Queer Nation, and the Houston Gay and Lesbian Caucus, as well as the American Atheists.
In Houston, Saddam Hussein is only one of the subjects being discussed by Republicans gathered there. There are other issues, and the most heated one is abortion. Jim Cummins is there. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Gary. GOP leaders say that they are ready to show the world that this is a party united behind its president and its platform. But many voters are skeptical about that. They have reason to be. The abortion issue won't go away, outside the convention hall or inside the party, where again today, Republican women who favor abortion rights attack the GOP platform, which supports a ban on abortions.
The ultimate is we're going to lose the election unless we change that platform.
In a closed-circuit message, California Governor Pete Wilson, who also supports abortion rights, pleaded with delegates to avoid a floor fight over abortion.
At this point, it seems to me that we're best advised to direct our energies into efforts that will re-elect George Bush.
Delegates are sharply divided.
She's for abortion. I'm not for abortion. No one's going to win. No one's going to change their mind.
And there's the issue of Bush himself. In 1988, he ran on the status quo. Party leaders admit that wouldn't be such a good idea this time.
Let's face it, we've got real problems in America. And people they don't dislike George Bush. They're just uneasy with George Bush.
To help dispel that, the campaign announced today that First Lady Barbara Bush will spend a lot of time this fall on the campaign trail, especially in California. And leaders of the party's conservative wing continue to urge the president to make some kind of dramatic announcement to spur the economy, perhaps a tax cut.
He has to lay out clearly a vision for where he's going to take the country in the next 4 years.
This afternoon, the president placed a phone call to the convention hall and spoke to some of the delegates.
We've got a good program. The people do not know it. And when we get through with this convention you've worked so hard on, they will.
A prominent Democrat was in town today, too. The Reverend Jesse Jackson told a church congregation that the president and the Republicans are trying to do in 4 days what they couldn't do in 4 years. Garrick?
Thanks, Jim. Well, as we cover our world this Sunday, we're going to go next to Miami, where the homeless have gone to court for the right to live in public parks. Also on Focus this evening, facing the financial squeeze, what to do when your credit is gone.
Some full commission brokers are finding more and more ways to charge more and more fees, even annual fees on IRAs, just for the privilege of doing business with them.
You certainly know how to get around without too much problem. Mad Rush from behind the scenes also calls for some very quick footwork by reporters and photographers, as my colleague Minerva Perez has discovered.
For all of us at KTRK, working this convention is going to mean a lot of running around and a lot of work. Let me show you what I mean. It's going to mean scaling stairs quickly in order to get from one point to another. Anybody who knows Houston or the Astrodome knows the long walkways to get from one point to another. And for us, all of us, it's going to take a lot of time. There are so many people expected here tomorrow, carts are being disallowed from the hallways. And finally, we're here to the KTRK Catfish Hole, where most of the reporters you'll see during convention coverage will be doing all of their reports from here. Well, all I can say is if I have to dress up in silks to cover this convention, I'm very grateful for these. We're going to be good buddies in the next 4 days. Now, I'm standing where home plate once was. It's where a multitude of reporters, myself, other KTRK reporters will be here in the next 4 days reporting, giving you all the information on what's happening here at the convention hall. It's going to be quite a drastic change. Tomorrow there are going to be 2,200 delegates as well as 2,200 alternates. So this place is going to be brimming with people. And Bob and I are going to bring you all the convention floor coverage as well as all the perimeter is going to be covered by other KTRK reporters as well. So we're going to have the full picture. Right, Bob?
Let me add that huffing and puffing is not for dramatic effect.
No, it's not.
You made a quick run down there. You want to take a second to catch your breath.
I did sprint here.
I'll tell you, we're going to be in shape before this thing is over because we do have lots of coverage planned. That floor is pretty immense, actually. We're looking at covering, 5, 6, and 10 o'clock. So
exactly. I'll be doing the 5 and 6 chores, and I believe you're going to be doing the 10 o'clock chores, hopefully with everybody's help. We have a big team of reporters as well as technical people, photographers, producers. Everybody's out here. This is Command Central for the next 4 days.
Let me turn around. The light's not too good behind me, but Minerva's way on the other side of the Astrodome over there where the network booths are. And
I'd wave at you, but I can't see you.
I'll tell you, the dome is broken up here by a platform for the media in the center of things. So actually, in point of fact, on the floor, the delegates won't even necessarily be able to see each other, and they'll have to rely on that big screen up top. Anyway.
We'll be there.
Come on back up here and see us in the booth, Minerva.
I will.
Up ahead, though, we'll show you a Lone Star-style greeting. But first, a look at that come-from-behind win by the Oilers up in Cowboy Country. Stay with us.
Some full commission brokers are finding more and more ways to charge more and more fees, even annual fees on IRAs, just for the privilege of doing business with them. But not us. At Charles Schwab, we offer the no-fee IRA, and we guarantee that you'll never pay an annual fee for the rest of your life. So if you're tired of finding new fees every time you open your statement,
maybe it's time to come to Schwab.
We want to take just a moment now and talk about the Republican convention starting tomorrow in Houston with our intrepid floor reporters, Lisa Myers, John Cochran, and Andrew Mitchell. Good evening, all. John, let's start with you. You cover President Bush. If he goes ahead and orders strikes in the near future against Saddam Hussein, as the foreign policy president, is he dealing from strength or from weakness?
Garrick, the president has looked weak on Iraq this summer, and both Bill Clinton and Al Gore have criticized him for not being tough enough with Saddam Hussein. The upside for the president is that he should be insulated from Democratic attack if indeed he does order airstrikes. So what could be the downside for the president if he does order military action? Several things. One, the timing. If it happens this week, a lot of people are just going to think it looks funny. Voters are a pretty skeptical bunch this year. Two, no one knows what voter reaction would be if there are U.S. casualties. And three, the president has pretty well prepared public opinion if he orders airstrikes in support of these UN inspection teams trying to get into these ministry buildings. That, he might get by with that. But, as Fred Francis reported tonight, the president may also order airstrikes later on in support of the Shiite rebels in southern Iraq. We haven't been hearing about the Shiite rebels lately. They've been off the radar screen, and the public is not prepared to support that yet.
All right, let's turn to some other domestic issues. Lisa, abortion, a heated issue. Is it going to come to a floor fight? And if it is a big debate there, in a way, could that help George Bush?
Well, what's happening right now, Garrick, is that both sides are continue to work furiously around the scenes. Right now, abortion rights supporters do not have the 6 states they need to force a debate on the convention floor, but the situation remains fluid. Right now, Bush campaign officials are fanned out all over town making the case that a floor fight is not in the president's interest. What they want is to present a unified picture to this country. They do not want a floor fight on the opening day of the convention. What abortion rights supporters are most upset about, Garrick, is that the platform committee would not even include language in the platform acknowledging the diversity abused within the party. In fact, anti-abortion advocates were so adamant about it that Phyllis Schlafly at one point threatened that if the Bush campaign tried to go forward with such language, she would retaliate by introducing a resolution demanding that George Bush fire Budget Director Dick Darmott.
Well, Lisa, let's go. Well, let me interrupt here and go to Andrea Mitchell, because Barbara Bush is going to address the convention. Barbara Bush said that she thinks abortion has no place in the party platform. So is she going to say that to the delegates?
I don't think so. She will address the convention, but she's also going to go out and campaign as soon as the convention is over in California. In fact, by the time this is all over, you're going to see more of George and Barbara Bush than George Bush and Dan Quayle. You're going to probably think that Barbara Bush is the running mate, not only the wife. There's a good reason for that. Barbara Bush is more popular than her husband, and she's infinitely more popular than Dan Quayle. Now, she's already, as you pointed out, made a very obvious tactical move to try to reassure the moderates by splitting with her husband and the conservative writers of the abortion blank in the platform. But I don't think that she would do anything quite as blatant as make that announcement from the podium here at the convention.
All right. Andrea, Lisa, John, we'll be looking forward to your coverage starting tomorrow at the Republican convention. And a reminder about that convention coverage, the NBC News team will be working again with the McNeil-Lehrer Report on PBS beginning tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Then at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, the coverage will be seen live here on NBC. And we'll be right back.
It was unreal. You woke up with morning breath. You were meeting Miss Wonderful for breakfast, and instead of minty fresh scope... Where's my scope? There was something from the medicine-y mouthwash. It looked blue, but it still smelled somewhat medicine-y. I need my scope. It's okay. Relax. It was all a dream. You do have scope. It's minty through and through and kills 90% of morning breath bacteria. So you use minty fresh scope and you kiss morning breath goodbye.
Hi, it's scope for 148 not seen Andrews. Fowler not seen. 81%. You need 14%.
And to the nation. Strange, isn't it, how those Reagan years seem part of a more distant history than just 4 years ago? So much has changed. In the economy, the go-go 80s, followed by the go-slow 90s, the Reagan-era optimism replaced by the concerns of an uncertain future. Do Americans hold a past president responsible for today's problems? According to the polls, they do. Tom Pettit looks now at the Reagan years.
Ronald Reagan left office in 1989 with greater popularity than any president since Eisenhower. His glory years now are fading. Polls show that about half of America holds a negative opinion of him. Even visitors to the Reagan Library in California now have mixed feelings.
For some people, he restored faith in the country. I didn't see it that way.
It's like living off of a credit card for 8 years.
I think he'll be probably one of the best presidents we've ever had since I've been alive.
As ex-president, he has not played a major role in the Republican Party. He has made a lot of money giving speeches, $1 million in Japan alone. So what is the legacy of the Reagan presidency?
What we'll remember most is that Ronald Reagan turned mid-course on his anti-communism sufficiently to negotiate with Mikhail Gorbachev what amounted to the end of the Cold War.
This was historic stuff, the anti-communist crusader making friends with Mikhail Gorbachev, the final communist leader in the old USSR. Reagan devotees claim the secret of ending the arms race was to escalate the American arms buildup. But then there was a downside, the economy.
His belief, sincere belief, that he could cut taxes, increase defense, and still reduce the budget deficit was wrong-headed, and we do pay for that day in and day out.
Reagan left the economy to George Bush to fix, or try to. He also left an enduring scar on the U.S. presidency. It was the Iran-Contra affair.
The Iran-Contra affair, I think, is a blot, and it will be so in the history books.
For delegates to this year's convention, Reagan's brief appearance will be pure nostalgia for the old-time rhetoric.
An American president told the generation of the Great Depression that it had a rendezvous with destiny. I believe this generation of Americans today also has a rendezvous with destiny.
Reagan has had his rendezvous with destiny. George Bush's uncertain destiny lies ahead. Tom Pettit, NBC News, Washington.
And that is our look at our world this Sunday. Tom Brokaw will be reporting from the Republican National Convention tomorrow. I'm Garrick Utley. Good night for NBC News.
It's
It's a whole new Sunday on NBC. First, real-life dramas, never-before-told stories from the inside, the premiere of Secret Service. Then, real videos, real stories. Eyewitness Video, the series returns. 2 series premieres. Secret Service at 7, followed by Eyewitness Video tonight on NBC. It's as real as it gets.
Can the Bush quail ticket come from behind? Join Tom Brokaw, John Chancellor, and the NBC News
TJ Maxx.
And now to update you on the traffic around town, here is Neil Rorick. Good morning, Neil.
Good morning, Bob. Good morning, everyone. Big problems on the Southwest Freeway right now. It is closed outbound at Sweetwater Boulevard. Life Flight currently on the scene of a very serious accident. Heavy traffic inbound from Bel Air all the way into the Loop. Elsewhere around town, heavy traffic still have the East Tex Freeway closed at the Loop. I'm Neil Rorick, Channel 2 Traffic Control.
Thank you, Neil. That wraps it up out here at the Dome. Dan, I'll see you over here at 12 o'clock for Channel 2 News at noon.
Sure will, Bob. I look forward to that. Right now, let's go to the back porch. Dave, how does it look?
Oh, a fantastic start to our Monday. Good morning, everyone. Temperatures now in the low and middle 60s, headed toward a high today in the upper 80s. Hope you enjoy your Monday.
All right, Dave, and please stay tuned to Channel 2 News at noon for full convention coverage. See you at the Dome.